Welcome back to week 4, day 1, and a big congratulations is due to everybody who has started this journey with us since the beginning of the year. In this first 3 weeks, we have already read 50 chapters of Genesis, finishing out that entire book. We've read 3 Psalms, and we've even read 3 verses from the New Testament. Reading through the Bible is an epic challenge, and I think it's important for us to celebrate the milestones as we come to them. So celebrate yourself, give yourself a pat on the back. You've read through the book of Genesis. That's a big portion of this scripture and a great foundation of everything else we're going to see. Well, this is a chronological plan. So even though we were in Genesis 50 just the other day, we are not going to flip the page into Exodus immediately. Instead, we're going to jump into Job. Yes, it's spelled J-O-B, might be more easily read as Job, but is typically known as Job. And Job has traditionally been considered a contemporary of Abraham, and that's why chronologically we read this book next. There aren't any clues in the text itself that tells exactly when it should be placed, but again, from tradition, we mark this as a contemporary of Abraham. The book of Job attacks the idea that good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. That is what we would like to believe. And in fact, when bad things happen, a lot of times people will say, why do bad things happen to good people? Somehow insinuating that they're good. And that might need some evaluation. But regardless of the fact, we do know that instead of trying to combat that particular falsehood that a lot of us have fallen into, the book of Job actually explores the timeless question of how God's people should respond to evil and suffering. When it does occur, and I do use the word when, not if, when it does occur, how should we respond? It's very easy for us to want to try and put simple answers around these kind of questions, especially in the face of suffering. And Job, throughout this book, and we're going to see for many chapters, he's constantly looking for that answer. He's constantly asking that question, why do bad things happen? Why have they happened to me? And his friends, I'm going to put air quotes around that, friends, they have plenty of suggestions, and most of them are very simple. You must have done something wrong. But simple is not necessarily true. So today we get to see something and learn something that Job, in all of his life, even to the end of the story, doesn't see. Exactly what prompted the circumstances that we see unveiled in this particular story, as we see behind the curtain, if you will, into the throne room of God. We're going to be reading chapters 1 through 5. And as we do so, one of the benefits, again, of this chronological story is we just finished reading the story of Joseph. Joseph certainly experienced quite a bit of suffering in his own life. And so this is a good opportunity for us to compare how suffering is treated differently in these stories. Joseph, when he's talking to his brothers in the very last chapter of Genesis, he reveals why he suffered. He knows. He has been able to figure it out that it's through his suffering that God was able to deliver Joseph's family and continue the promise of all the covenant continue the covenant promises that had been made first to Abraham, then to Isaac, and then to Jacob. Job, however, he never is afforded any answers, and his suffering may seem meaningless. It may seem that way to us. It may seem that way to Job. But at the same time, we know that God always has a purpose and always works all things together for good. Let us remember that as we begin our reading of Job 1 through 5 this week.